Hi everyone and welcome to the MS Times. My name's Andrew and today I'm going to be talking about a disease modifying drug called Lemtrada, other known as alemtuzumab. So I started this medication 2016 in May last year, and I was in hospital for 5 very long days. So yeah, I'm just going to tell you a very little bit of medical knowledge to my understanding. But, before you start this medication or want any other information, do seek medical advice, speak to your neurologist, speak to your doctor. So, yeah, my understanding of what Lemtrada is, it's a form of chemotherapy that strips the immune system, and what that's kind of trying to do is kill the MS cells, and then when your immune system is getting back up to produce and mirror fresh healthy cells. So yeah, so that's my little bit of knowledge that I know, which isn't that good, but I hope it helps. So as I say, I started this medication 2016, went into hospital, and on my first day when I received to hospital, the neurologist came and spoke to me and kind of explained to me on while I was having this medication, that most people have a reaction to it, and then what happens with that reaction, you kind of get a really fast growing rash that grows quite vigorously and can be quite itchy. So they told me about this, but they also told me not to worry, as there are nurses at hand. If you do get the rash, they'll sort it out immediately. I think they give a dosage of Piriton, but I'm not too sure because I didn't contract the rash. So yeah, so my first day was just the neurologist speaking to me, explaining to me what the week was going to basically be like. They did tell me that each day of going into hospital, I'd be receiving a course of steroids as well as the treatment Lemtrada. So yeah, I was really happy with that, blood tests and all of that. So yeah, my first day in hospital was very boring and very tiring. I was in hospital for about 8 hours a day. And yeah, just really boring, just sitting there. I occupied myself, with just watching films on my phone, just watching lots of films on my phone. So yeah, that's how I kind of just passed the time. And the nurses are constantly coming to visit you, taking your blood pressure, your temperature, making sure everything's going okay. So the day does move on quite fast, but yeah, so my second day exactly the same. Went into hospital, I had the cannula already in my hand, so they just hooked me up and started giving me the drug. So I found the first day really long. I was in hospital for about 8 hours, and the second, fourth and fifth day I found I was in hospital for about 6-7 hours. So yeah, really boring in hospital, really boring. Just occupy yourself however you can. A tip, before you go to have this medication, or if you've ever had steroids before, or you're going to have steroids before, take some sweets or chewing gums with you, because you can taste it. You can taste the medication, and it tastes like a kind of metally, poisony, medication-y taste, which is absolutely awful. And it just doesn't get out of your mouth at all. So yeah, keep on chewing gum or suck some sweets. I found that really helped me. So on my fifth day of Lemtrada, the neurologist came back to see me, and she basically explained some aftercare to me. And what she basically told me was, as my immune system had been stripped, to be very careful for the next 8 weeks of who I was in contact with. So anyone that had flus, colds or viruses, to kind of stay away from, because my immune system had been stripped, and I'm, basically trying to grow it back. Yeah, basically trying to grow it back. She also gave me a letter telling me that you can contract something called listeria if you're not careful with your food. So food contains a lot of bacteria, so food that you've prepared the night before, or leftover meat or processed food, dairy products, some types of fish, fruits and vegetables contain a lot of bacteria if they're not washed properly or peeled. So yeah, she kind of told me to be very, very careful for the next 8 weeks. So yeah, so I came home on the 5th day and I felt extremely tired. So I came home and just went straight to bed. On the next day when I woke up after the medication, I couldn't get out of bed at all. I felt like someone had just, I can't explain it. I felt like someone put loads of stones on me or loads of earth and I just couldn't get through. I woke up in the morning, I couldn't even move my neck. I was so heavy and so lethargic and very, very tearful. And I kind of thought to myself, why did I have this drug? What have I done to myself? I felt okay before I had the medication. And now I've had this medication, I feel like I've gone back to square one. But it only lasted 2 days for me. So after that, I was really, really happy, full of life, full of energy. They did tell me to keep a mood diary, and I didn't really find that my mood changed at all, really. So apart from more tearful, but I think that was because anyone who goes into hospital for 5 days and has loads of medication pumped into their system, you're going to feel a bit tired and groggy and miserable and tearful for yourself. That's just natural, MS or no MS. So yeah. So I decided for the 8 weeks not to leave the house. Now, not a lot of people will agree with me, but this was my decision. And the neurologist and everyone was kind of urging me to go out, but I didn't want to take that chance, as I didn't want to go back into hospital. I just wanted to try and get better, or if I couldn't get better, to make sure I didn't get any worse. So I decided to spend 8 weeks at home, and I found it very, very fun. I had my yoga, my Pilates teacher came round every week, and I was doing my exercises, trying to get my body strong again, eating super healthy, everything organic. So because my immune system had been stripped, I kind of thought to myself, well, if it's stripped and it's going to rebuild itself, I want it to rebuild itself with all really good quality organic food. So I've got no pesticides in me or anything like that. So yeah, and then after the 8 weeks, I was good to go, and I felt like I'd just been given a new lease of life. And my MS symptoms, as you know, if you've seen from my other videos, I suffer really bad with spasms, spasticity, cramps, drop foot, pains, sharp stabbing pains in my legs, and stinging pains and pins and needles. So while I was recovering 8 weeks at home after the medication for about 5 weeks, I didn't have no symptoms. Oh my God, it felt like I was in heaven. It felt so comfortable. But then after the 5 weeks, all my symptoms came back. So, you know, I just have to deal with it to the best I can. So yeah, that was my first infusion on Lemtrada. Now, a year that I had that infusion, I didn't relapse once. Nothing got worse, nothing got better. I kind of just stayed the same. So for me, that was really, you know, I would have been very happy if I would have improved, but I didn't get worse. So I was very, very happy and very, very grateful for that. So this year, 2017, in May, I went back and had my second course, but this time it was only for 3 days, so it was much better. So I went into hospital the first day, same thing happened. The neurologist came to me and spoke to me and told me kind of what to expect, the rash and all of that. Again, I didn't have a reaction to the medication and didn't get the rash, so I was really, really happy. Yeah, 3 long days in hospital, but then that was it. And then the neurologist came on the 3rd day, explained the same thing. Be careful who you're in contact with, not to contract any viruses or flus or anything like that. And be really careful with your food for the next 8 weeks. So yeah, I done the 8 weeks at home again, and I really enjoyed myself because this time there was so much more to watch on TV. I had loads of series that I watched, and I'm a massive TV person, so I really enjoyed myself. Still, I had my yoga, my Pilates teacher came round, and my Thai massage woman that gives me Thai massages came round, and Thai massages are amazing. It's basically a lazy man's yoga. So yes, so I just kept myself really focused and positive, and because I knew what to expect from the first time I had the medication, this time I had the medication, when I got home, I kind of said to myself before I went to bed, right, Andrew, in the morning, you were going to wake up and you were going to be fine. And that was my mantra. I kept on saying to myself, you will be fine, Andrew. In the morning, everything will be okay. Go to sleep and allow your body to repair. You're going to be fine. And I just kept on repeating it back and back and back and back. And in the morning I woke up and I felt fine. Still, I had the headache and I felt like I had a cloud of fog around me. But I didn't feel heavy or, really lethargic. I felt kind of really positive and focused. So yeah, that was my experience with Lemtrada. Now, I'm sure I've missed loads and loads out. So if anyone's got any messages, please feel free to contact me. In regards to medical information about the disease-modifying drug alemtuzumab, Lemtrada, do talk to your neurologist or a doctor, or have a look online to get your research properly. Never ever watch a video and think, oh yeah, this person knows what she's talking about, or he knows what he's talking about, and kind of go off that. Always watch videos, they're really good and helpful, but always remember to get all your information properly. So I hope this has helped. Thank you so much for visiting the EMS Times. Please check out my other stuff. Thank you, and Om Shanti.